Hello, testing. Okay. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abayim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezus Hashem, our shir on the Zohar Kodesh. Let's just get started right away. If you have the Chok Yisrael, it's Tetzaveh Yom Chamishi. This week's parsha for Thursday. And if you're looking in the Zohar, it's Parshas Tetzaveh Taf Kuf Pei Gimel Amud Aleph. That's 183a. And the Zohar Kodesh is going to talk about the two types of bread that we ate when we left Egypt. So that's how this passage starts. There were two types of bread that the Israelites ate in the desert. The one is when they left Egypt, achal matzah. They ate matzah, lechem oini, which is called the bread of affliction, the bread of poverty. The chad b'madbara, lechem min hashamayim. And one in the wilderness, in the desert, the manna, which was bread from heaven, food from heaven. And in parentheses it says here, Chad b'Pesach and Chad b'Shvuos. One was on Passover, it was matzah, and one was in Shvuos, which was the manna. The manna started to fall before Shvuos. It was actually Lag Bomer, when they started to eat the manna. Alright, the Chsiv is written in Exodus 16. Behold, I'm going to cause to rain down from you bread from heaven. Valda karbana diyema danahama iu. So Shavuos, the Yantiv of Shavuos, is the only time when we had Chametz in the temple. All the sacrifices, the showbread in the temple and so forth, was always matzah. One time was Chametz, and that was on Shavuos, which is why there was bread, there was Chametz on the Yantiv of Shavuos, the holiday of Pentecost. Val Nahama is Krivu Kolshar Karbanin. Now all the other sacrifices were also brought with bread, but that was matzah, the Nahama Yu Iker. Because really the main part of the sacrifice is, very interestingly, everyone thinks it's animals, that's expensive stuff, and blood and all this stuff. No, the Zohar Kodesh says, based on the Bible, that the main point of all the sacrifices was the bread. The Chsiv, as it says in Leviticus 23, V'kravtem amallechem shiva kvasim, that you should sacrifice, offer on the bread 7 lambs, v'goymer, etc. Uchsiv, also in Leviticus 23, taviu lechem tenufa, talking about the Omer offering. Talking about the sacrifice of Shavuos. It says, from your dwelling places you should bring a bread to be waved. This bread is what caused the Israelites to become wise with the highest wisdom of the Torah, and they went on their way, and in its way, on the way of the Torah. I guess that's why all of our meals, maybe one reason why a meal is with bread, and bread brings wisdom. Hashta Islan is takla befesek nafka Yisrael manaham diskrei chametz. Ksiv lo yirelecha chametz, uksiv koloichel machmetzes, tamid gen yikra dahu naham diskrei matzah. So we have to look at this. So on Passover, Pesach, the Israelites left Egypt. They left they went out of that bread that's called chametz, that's called leavened bread. And that's why it's written, Exodus 13, and you shouldn't see no leaven with you. And it's written in Exodus 12, anyone who eats leaven, it'll be cut off. My timer, why is this begin? Yekara dahu nahamad is great matzah. It's because matzah is such an honorable type of bread. It's a very honored type of bread. It's a very glorified bread. Hashin zach yisrael nahama yala yater layus have the spot lechametz v'lieschazik la. And we ask, so now there's a question, because we see that matzah is a very glorious type of bread. So it begs the question, now that the Israelites were worthy to the higher type of bread, the commentator here says, lechem dezer anpin, meaning they left Egypt, they left matzah lechem, only malchus, that's the lowest level, then we went up to zer anpin, to the higher spheros, in the midos. And then, yeah, what do you want to eat? Can Tati finish teaching? You want some of this? This? Don't make a mess though, okay? Eat it by the table. So, but the thing is that totally do away with chametz. It's also not nice. It wasn't. That's also not proper. My carbon of the chametz. So why is this korban of Shavuos lechem bikurim that was chametz? Have the chesiv soilos tiena chametz tiafena. Says it should be the finest flour. And you should bake it as leaven, as chametz. So the hash to be yomada is battle yetzahara. For rice this chiru shchachas el malka the havale by chodai v'cholash. Okay, so the reason is that chametz, it's the Yetzirah. When we received the Torah, it in a way destroyed the Yetzirah. It came back later, but like the receiving of the Torah certainly began the vanquishment of the Yetzirah, and and this power of Torah destroys the Yetzirah of authentic Torah. That's called freedom. The Torah makes us free. It's called freedom. So then, why did we bring chametz? And so all right. So the idea is that we're defeating. But how does that? What does that mean? Because you would think no, that there shouldn't be any chametz. If chametz is the Yetzirah, so what does it mean? Let's here bring a mashal, a parable. He had a king who had an only son, and he became sick. One day he wanted to eat. He desired very strongly to eat. Amar yechlu brei de malka mechla de asfasa da vadiyechel le la yishachach mechla mezayna achara bevesa avdu hachi. So he said that the prince, the son of the king, he should eat this healing food. And when we start feeding him this diet of food that's going to heal him, there should be no other types of food in the house. And that's what they did. Avdu hachi. Kevin da achal ala asvasa amamikan lahala yechol kol madi yud soiv la yachal nazgale. Then afterwards they said, now that you've been healed, now you can eat other things. You're back to health. So now you can go back to eating normal foods. And it's not going to hurt you. Kach kanafki Yisrael Mitzrayim lehavi yadei ekara v'rasanim nusa. Same thing. When the Israelites left Egypt, they didn't know the root and the secret of faith. Amakuchabrichu yitamun Yisrael asvasa. So then God said that the Israelites should eat this medicine, this healing food, matzah. When they're eating this medicine, matzah, they shouldn't see any other food. So since they ate the matzah, which is the medicine, the healing food that will lift us up and let us know the secret of faith, God says from now on you can eat chametz. And now you'll eat it and it won't hurt you. But when the day of Shavuos comes, when we receive the Torah, then we have the highest bread, which is the perfect medicine. It heals everything. That's where we bring chametz. It's even brought, burnt on the altar. Mekarven train the hamen. Acharon kachada, and you bring two breads. There are two breads that are brought on shtei lechem, that are brought on Shavuos. Bible says kachada. The bread is one. V'chametz itoikta benura de madbecha, and this chametz is burned in the fire of the mizbeach, the altar, v'liyachal l'shalta nazgalan l'Yisrael, and now it cannot affect and hurt the Israelites. Beginning kach Yisrael kadishnas dab baki. That's why the Israelites who are holy, they're attaching themselves to God on this day with the medicine, the healing power of the Torah. Incidentally, that's why on during the days of Sfiras HaOmer, we actually eat matzah and chametz together. At every meal, there's a custom to eat a little bit of matzah too, among the Hasidim, because it's like saying, 7 days you have only matzah, because you have to be very careful that you shouldn't get sick, so you have only the medicine. The 8th day, then we have, what do you call it, gebraks, which is a little bit, it's still matzah, but it's a little bit like chametz. So the whole 7 days the Chassidim don't eat gebraks, only the 8th day, and then after that we eat chametz, Isru Chag, but and then all the 7 weeks until Shavuos, the next 6 weeks till Shavuos, we eat chametz. But whenever we eat chametz, we eat a little matzah too, because it's like you're still on the diet. That so you still have to have that in your system, the medicine. But you can go back to eating regular food, but still stay on the medicine. And then once we're done, then we can get off the medicine. That's the similar to what the Zohar Kodesh is saying. Someone asked a few weeks ago about certain passages in the Zohar that were questionable. So I was talking to a rabbi today who knows about these things, and he said something very interesting about the history of the printings of the Zohar. He said that all those things that people say are questionable, things talking Spanish words and talking about Islam and Christianity and all these things. Christianity existed already in the time of Rabbi Shimon Yochai, but Islam did not. Um, he said that that does not appear in any of the regular printings of the Zohar. He said there was only one printing that had these things. He said it was printed in Constantina, is where he said. Um, I guess it's Constantinople, and he said that that printing was not really printed in Constantina. That people were saying that that was an authentic printing, but the thing was that the year which it says that it was printed, um, it was impossible that it could have been printed then because the first printing press, um, the law was in the Muslim countries that the first thing that could be printed on any printing press would be the Quran. Um, and so this version of the Zohar, which allegedly was printed in Constantinople and Turkey and Istanbul, would not have been was 100 years before the first Quran was printed in Constantinople, and the authorities of the Ottoman Empire would not have allowed that. So therefore, that particular version of the Zohar was a forgery made by the. It was actually came out later. It was actually printed, he said, in Berlin by um, the Maskilim, by the members of the Enlightenment, and that was a false version of the Zohar. It was not the original, but all the authentic versions of the Zohar do not have those questionable passages. Okay, we'll take a little break before the next class. The next class will start at 9:30, um, and then so in about 10 minutes or so, 12 minutes, we'll start the next class. So please enjoy a little break, and then we'll we'll continue. Okay, thank you for joining us, but please stay tuned. We'll have a little bit of Hasidus on the Parsha at 9:30. Okay, thank you for joining us.